Hi guys, Mrs. Arriaga here to help you out with calculating force, mass, and acceleration. The first thing I want to review for you is how important your force triangle will be to help you to remember what kind of math to do for each problem. When you have your values that are known and unknown, one of them is going to be missing. Cover up the missing value, and what to do with the rest of the values is there for you. In this case, it'd be force over mass in order to find acceleration. If you're missing mass, cover it up. Force divided by acceleration is left. If you're missing force, cover it up, and mass times acceleration is left. Now let's talk about the importance of our graphic organizer. Remember, it's called KFC 321. KFC has 3 steps for the K, which is where we figure out what we know. The F step is where we use our formulas, where we fill in our formulas with letters, and once where we fill in that same formula with our numbers. The numbers are going to come from the K step, where we figured out our F, which stands for force, M, which stands for mass, and A, which stands for acceleration. One of these 3 is going to be missing. And then, of course, the last step is where we do our math calculations. So again, K stands for finding what we know. F stands for formula, filling in our formula with letters, then the values, and C stands for calculate. Let's practice now. This problem says a 10-kilogram bowling ball would require what force to accelerate down an alleyway at a rate of 3 meters per second squared? We have 2 numbers given for us and 1 number missing. Our force is the one that's unknown. It says what force? Our mass is this number. Kilograms tells us that this is our mass, so our mass number is 10. Our acceleration is this number. Meters per second squared is our acceleration unit, so we know our acceleration is 3. If we think back to our force equals mass times acceleration triangle, if we're missing force and we cover it up, mass times acceleration is what's left. Force equals mass times acceleration. Now we write the same formula again, but this time fill in our values. Our mass number was 10, and our acceleration number was 3. Now we line it up and solve. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 1 is 3. Our answer is 30. So our force is 30 newtons. Now let's practice with a different problem. This one says, what is the mass? So we automatically know that mass is the one that's missing, of a falling rock if it produces a force of 147 newtons. This problem does not give you an acceleration, but if something is falling, it's falling at a rate of gravity, and the rate of gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared. So our acceleration in this case is 9.8. If mass is the one that we're missing, think back to your force triangle, cover up the mass, and that leaves you with force over acceleration. Mass equals force over, or divided by, acceleration. Mass equals, our force number is here, 147, over our acceleration number, which is here, 9.8. Now let's go down here and solve. 147 and 9.8. It's very difficult to divide with a decimal, so move that decimal over. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other, so we need to move this decimal place over as well. 98 will go into 147, obviously only one time. 1 times 98 is 98. We can't take 8 from 7, so we need to borrow. The 4 becomes 3, and the 7 becomes 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. Now, 3 take away 9. Well, we can't do that, so we need to borrow. Our 1 becomes 0, and our 3 becomes 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. 98 won't go in to 49, so we need to drop our 0 down. 490. Well, let's guess and check. I don't know how many times that 98 will go into 490. It's very close to 100, so maybe the answer is 4, because 100 would go into 490 one time. So I'm going to go up here and guess and check. 98 times 4. Oops. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry your 3. 4 times 9 is 36. Plus 3 is 39. 392. Well, that's not enough, and there's quite a bit more. Maybe I'll guess and check with 5. 98 times 5. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry the 4. 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 9 is, hey, 490. Cool. So this number goes here. 5 times 98 is 490. 490 minus 490 is 0. I'm done. My mass is 15. Now let's try finding acceleration. What is the acceleration? What is the acceleration? First I need to find what's known. That's my K step. What is the acceleration? Acceleration is missing of a softball that has a mass. It tells us it's the mass of 0.5 kilograms. 0.5 kilograms. And hits the catcher's glove with a force. It tells us it's force. Thanks, problem. Of 25 newtons. 25 goes here. If our acceleration is what's missing, think back to the triangle. Mass and acceleration. If acceleration is what's missing, cover it up. Force over mass. Acceleration equals force over mass, or force divided by mass. Now we plug it in. Acceleration equals force, which is 25, over mass, which is 0.5. All right, now it's time for our C step. K was to find what we know, F was to find the formula, and C is to calculate. 25 goes in the house, and 0.5 goes outside of the house. But remember, this is difficult to deal with. Move that decimal place over. And if it moves over here, it needs to go straight up onto the roof of the house so that you don't mess that up. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 minus 25 is 0. This 0 drops down. 5 goes into 0 times. So our answer should be 50. Be very careful that you don't forget. If you move a decimal on one side, you have to move it on the other side, and it needs to go straight up so that it's in the right place in your answer. The force, mass, acceleration triangle is very, very helpful to remember which formula to use, and your KFC graphic organizer is very helpful to remember the steps to find what's known for our force, our mass, and acceleration, then which formula to use with the letters, and then putting the numbers in the right place, and giving us a space to do our math. This is going to keep our work nice and organized, and it's going to prevent us making mistakes.